We're gonna go live here. So give things just a minute. A few people are just logging on. Appreciate everybody that's with us today for our third live cast. Super excited. Appreciate all the feedback. Keep it coming. Today's live cast is all based upon what you have asked for. This is based upon your request. So today we are going to deep dive into MLS Sniper. How to turn the worst strategy into your personal deal finding funnel without leaving your home. I think that's really important, without leaving your home, especially with what's going on right now, which we are going to be talking about here in just a little bit. So success with a strategy most people try that very rarely works. A lot of people try picking up properties off the MLS and it does not work for them as a real estate investor. So we're going to go in detail on how you can make this work for you using this MLS Sniper strategy. So glad you're with us. Couple things. What you will walk away with by the end of the time you spent with me, you'll learn my private strategy to snipe properties that 99.9% of investors don't even know how to look for them. How to take the least effective way of finding homes and turn it into endless deals. To know exactly how many offers you need to make to virtually guarantee a deal, and how many you have to make over time to get the deal, and also how to structure deals to benefit you during this crisis that we're going through, this pandemic that we're going through. So does that sound like something you guys want to learn? If so, put yes in the chat. I'm going to be watching the chat here. So put yes in the chat if that's something that you would like to learn today from the time you spend with me and what we do. So let's jump into this overview. We're going to talk about COVID-19. We're going to jump into why I hate the MLS properties. Next, we're going to get into what MLS Sniper is, how to do research, how to make offers. So those are the things that we're going to be talking about today that will help you with this whole MLS Sniper strategy. Okay, so first, if you are live, please comment. Give me your first name and the city that you're investing in, the city and state you're investing in. So put that in so I know where you're at, because that will be really helpful as we do some of the scenarios and some of the stuff we're going to do. So Sherrod, thanks for being here. Kim, appreciate it. Jeffrey, thanks for being here. Tiara, the two bear, thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys being here. So anyway, put in your state and where Maurice Wright. I like the last name, Maurice. And so I also want to do some shout outs, which I just did, but I want to do a lot more of them. So if you have questions, please type them in because I want this to be interactive and I want you to get what you need to out of this. And Utah Fastback, appreciate you being here. Kyle, awesome. Chicago, Yvette, we're going to go through some stuff in Chicago today. Actually, I'm going to use some examples that I think will be really helpful for you. Today's topic is based upon your request, so appreciate that. If you want to know more about something, type it in the comments. I'm going to cover it, and we'll give you the opportunity to go through that. And if you want, if you like these live casts, I need some feedback. If you like these live casts, make sure you tell me. There's so much work. I can't even tell you how much work they are, and a week goes by so fast. Also, tell a family member, tell a friend if they're interested in real estate investing. The recording will also be on YouTube. So if you can do that, if you can help me out, share with a friend, please type yes into the chat as well. Let's see, we talked about that. Jeff in Ohio, thanks for being here. Malcolm in Stevens, Texas, appreciate it. Maurice in Ohio, appreciate you being here. Kim in Dallas, Texas, thanks for being here. Bill, Chicago, Illinois, we got another Chicago in the house. We'll be going over that. Mark, multiple states, fantastic. Let's see, Dre, Lacrosse, let's see here. Javier in San Antonio, Texas, thanks for being here. Sheridan, Columbus, and Frank, yes, fantastic. Thanks, Yvette. Appreciate it. So yeah, please share this with somebody. We really appreciate you being here, but please share it. It's a big help for us. And also, if you can give us a thumbs up and some comments, that's always really helpful. So next, I want to jump into the update with the coronavirus, the COVID-19. So the National Post reported Taiwan and Singapore have contained the COVID-19. So I think that's really, really important. There's a lot of fear mongering going on out there. The New York Times has also reported that Singapore, Taiwan, and Hong Kong have their outbreaks under control. So that's really good news for us because they're a little bit ahead of us with this whole COVID-19. And I'm really excited to get on the other side of this thing, as I know you are as well. The other thing is in South Korea is over the curve. So they have less than 100 cases per day. So you can see here February 19th, it looks like, and it jumped up in about 2 weeks to about 851 cases. And now they're back down to a pretty low level here, which is really exciting for us to see. In South Korea, active cases, you'll see they are over the curve and on the other side of it. Active cases, so the one is new cases, new people that are getting it. This is active cases, so it tells you people are getting over it. Obviously, it takes longer to get over it than it does to get it. So the one is new cases, and this is the active cases, people that actually have it. So some great stuff on that. The other thing I want to just make some mention, there's a lot of testing going on. So Abbott Laboratories has a new test that's coming out. It'll take less than 5 minutes, and you can run it on a portable toaster size machine, which is super cool. There's a German technology company, Bosch, that says they've done the same thing, which is really cool as well. Also, there's a lot of vaccinations that are happening right now. You don't hear about this stuff in the news. That's why I'm bringing it to you, so you kind of have an idea of what to be expecting here. So Johnson & Johnson got $1 billion from the U.S. government, and they've identified a vaccination candidate that they're going to be testing. In March, the World Health Organization launched a global strategy for 4 different potential treatments. Stage 3 trials, which is awesome. Stage 4 is the final. Stage 3 trials just launched in the UK this last week. This is the actual drug that they think is the most promising. So really excited about that. And then these guys have started doing human trials for vaccination back in mid-March. That's the fastest the world has ever gone from identifying a disease to conducting a vaccination trial. So I'm really hopeful with this stuff. I think it's some good stuff. And then Israel also has determined a vaccination as well that they're going to be testing. So the whole world is uniting, coming together, trying to find something that's going to help with this COVID-19. And we basically need to work our way through this to get on the other side of it. And so we can start making money and growing our wealth and those things as it comes to real estate investing. And so I'm really excited about these vaccinations. Really appreciate everyone who's working so hard on this. And then I forgot to mention that the vaccinations testing in Seattle has already started for the COVID-19. So they're already doing those in Seattle as well. So a lot of good stuff that's happening. The other thing that I think is really big news that you're not hearing a lot about is you probably heard China built this hospital in like a week, this huge hospital because they didn't have enough, which one is a miraculous feat. But two, China's also claimed that they've taken their hospital down. So they're not having anybody else in there. So new cases has diminished so much, they don't even need the hospital right now. So they're closing that hospital for the COVID-19 because they don't need it anymore. So that's really, really good news because just last month, they were building this thing so they could put people in it. And now they're saying we don't even have a need for it. So I think it's really great news that you're not hearing in the national media. The other thing is the BBC reported that Apple opened up all their stores. So they have 42 official Apple retail stores that they just reopened, which is really good. It tells you that things are getting back to normal, which is something I'm excited about, is getting things back to normal as well. We can still do real estate investing even in the current crisis that we're in, but it's going to be a lot easier when things get back to normal. So let's talk here for just a minute. Trump tells Americans to brace for a very painful 2 weeks. This was last week, not quite a week ago. And he's saying, I want every American to be prepared for hard days that lie ahead. And what I want to show you here, this is the United States. So we're just on the uptick. We're on the 7th, which is right here. And so you'll see this is going to start, but we are starting to see this curve flatten a little bit as well. But you're going to see we're not even on the uptick yet. And then we'll get over the curve probably the end of April. And then by the end of May, 1st of June, we should be on the other side of this thing. And it looks like we may be moving a little faster through this. These things change all the time. But we've got more to get to the other side of this, like China China and some of those other places that are through it. We've got some more time, some more peak until this actually happens, but you can see we're moving towards the other side of it. So we're on the uptick. So prepare yourself mentally to know it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better in the United States. I think we just need some mental preparation on that. The good news is that we have this model. We know countries that are on the other side of it: Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, Hong Kong. They're opening their stores. They no longer need hospitals. So those things I think are really, really important. So, and I've talked about this before, but beach bodies are made in the winter. That's just all there is to it. And the same thing holds true. Fall real estate profits are going to be made during the spring. That's why we're doing these live casts, because the things you do right now in preparation are going to be bringing the fall profits in. So now is the time to start building that pipeline to go into the fall time. And so we're going to go over this in these 10 things, but I just want to do some shout outs real quick to who we've got. I think we went over Bill, Mark, we talked about that. Perfect. Okay. Maurice, appreciate it. Tara, Hampton Roads, Virginia, fantastic. Frank, Scranton, PA, you were here at the office. You were here last week. I appreciate you being here again, man. Let's see. Dana Adams in Delaware, fantastic. Frank, appreciate that. Rodrigo, Baltimore, but in my own ship. I'm not sure what that means. Please give me some feedback on that, man. Okay, love the live feeds. Thank you. Appreciate it. Cindy, Indianapolis, Indiana. Appreciate you being here. So we talked about this last week, but I want to get into this again. The 10 things you can do right now in today's market with COVID-19, the 10 things you can currently do as a real estate investor to make profit right now, even with all the craziness that's going on, even if your kids are home from school and they're driving you crazy, even if you can't leave your house other than to go to the grocery store. These are things you can do right now. So number one, you can go negotiate hard right now because of all the craziness that's going on, because of the fear mongering, because of all the media out there that's like the world is ending. Now is the time to go make offers. And when you make those offers, you want to negotiate hard and say, hey, the sky is falling, the world is ending. I mean, many sellers are going to take discounts, especially if they're desperate sellers. So now's a great time to get great discounts. And then what you've got to do is get long periods. You're going to say, hey, all this stuff's going on. I need a really, really good price, but I'm not going to close for 90 days from now. So let's lock this up and get the time frame. And then you're getting a long earnest money. My earnest money is not going to go hard for 80 days, and my loan denial is going to be 80 days. So I've got basically 90 days of tying up this property. A strategy that's been used for this is called an option contract, where you have the option to buy it or the option not to buy it, and you typically put some money down to do that. We're using a purchase contract in a very similar way. We're taking a purchase contract, we're tying up a property for 90 days, we're giving ourselves 80 days for due diligence, we're giving ourselves 80 days for inspections, and the reason why you can do that right now is because of COVID-19, because of all the media, because of all the craziness that's happening. So you can tie that up, and then that gives you time in 30 or 60 days to reevaluate. If prices go down, you renegotiate to a lower price. If prices go up, you close on the transaction and you move forward. And a lot of people just don't understand how purchase contracts work. The purchase contract says, I intend to purchase the property, but there's a few conditions if you write your contracts appropriately. One of those conditions is, I want to do a full inspection on the property. One of those conditions is that you want to do due diligence. And if you feel like it's not something you want to move forward on, you can pull out. So for any reason, and in most contracts, you don't have to say what the reason is. And then you want to get a loan on the property because you don't have the cash yourself, so you're going to be doing some type of financing. If those things don't come together, you say, I'm sorry, I can't purchase the property. You get your earnest money back as long as you give yourself a long earnest money deadline. So that's a great way. Improve your craft. Use these trainings, improve your craft, get better at what you're doing. That's one of the biggest things you can be doing right now with the COVID-19. How to value properties, how to find properties, how to do rehab bids, how to do wholesaling, how to do business partnerships. All of those things are part of our members area. So big shout out to those that are with us that are members. Take advantage of those things. If you're not members, you can take advantage of this live cast or give us a call about becoming a member. Finding partnerships with cash or credit. Now is the time to be going after people that have cash or credit and doing partnerships. And we talked last week about the different types of business partnerships. If you missed it, you can watch it. If you want more information, go to our members area. You can get that. Last week, our whole thing was about taking advantage of 0% money. We did a deep dive on that last week, actually. So MLS Sniper is what we're going to talk about today. This is a great strategy that you can be using from in your home. The other thing we're talking about is seller financing and using seller finance. So these are the 10 ways that you can take advantage of the current marketplace to put profit in your pocket now and into the future. So I want to make sure you're taking care of those and then preparing yourself for cash flow acquisitions. If you're looking at doing rentals of any kind, we want to talk about that. There's some things that you can be doing to get yourself in the right mindset and financially in the right situation. So okay, we had a few more shout outs here. I want to make sure we get them. Maria, thank you, Ryan. Maria, thanks for being here as well. Rodrigo, New York, awesome. New York in ship. Okay, New Orleans, fantastic. Cleveland, thanks for being with us today. So please keep the shout outs coming. If you want to hear something, if you want clarification on something, I'm keeping a close eye on these things, especially you, Frank, because I love The Office. Okay, so first off, I got to talk about this whole thing is called MLS Sniper. The first thing I need to talk about is why I hate the MLS. Okay, so the MLS does a lot of things to people, and we're going to talk about it. So, and I've been an agent for 20 years, so I'm not just trying to pick some bone with the MLS, but the MLS does a few things to people. Bear with me. So the MLS, it makes finding property seem too easy. So a lot of people that are getting started in real estate investing say, oh, I'll just go find a property on the MLS. Oh, I'll just go hire an agent to find a property for me. It doesn't work like that. So that is a major problem. It just seems too easy. Just go find one on the MLS. The other thing on the MLS, there is a ton of competition. It's just basically like a billboard that people drive down on the freeway that nobody misses. If it's on the MLS, anybody and their dog in any country that has an internet connection can know what a house is selling for. So there's lots of competition on the MLS. And you're working with agents who typically have the upper hand. So lots of times the agents are like, I'll just buy it myself. Why would I even send this to anybody? So agents typically have that upper hand. And you have to work with agents when it's on the MLS. And agents can influence you to believing a property's worth more than it really is. A buyer's agent is going to say, oh no, that property's worth so much more than it really is. Well, if you know how to value properties and you value properties appropriately, gone through our training, you know how to value properties. So you don't have to rely on an agent telling you what it is. And this is not a knock on agents. I'm not trying to say agents are horrible by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, we recommend when you sell a property, you always list with an agent. That is our recommendation every single time. One of the other things is you delegate your success. The idea with I'm going to buy a property off the MLS is I'm going to delegate my success and an agent's going to do all the work for me and then I'm going to make money. And it just doesn't work like that. Low profit margins. Typically when you're working on the MLS, you have low profit margins because there's lots of competition. So if there's lots of competition, it's a supply and demand. The more competition, the worse deals you're going to get. The less competition, the better deals you're going to get. We're going to talk how this MLS Sniper puts that on its head and in detail. We talked about supply and demand here. Technically, you have to make lots of offers. Typically, I should say, you have to make lots of offers, 50 to 100 offers before you ever get a deal. And I think that kills people's spirits. I think a lot of new investors I made an offer and it didn't go through, and they make another one, it didn't go through. And it's like, oh no, maybe this is never going to work out. And they lose confidence in the process, lose confidence in themselves, lose confidence in following a system, when the reality is you probably need to make 50 or 100 offers, typically using the MLS to find a property, and then it's not going to be the best deal anyway. The MLS Sniper is going to turn all that on their head. So if you're with me and you want to learn about MLS Sniper, type in "I want to know" into the chat so I know you're not falling asleep or playing with the dog while. Oh, and one thing I should mention, we're going to be using the computer quite a bit. So if you're using your phone or whatever the case is, be careful, because we're going to be getting into, I'm going to show some computer systems and stuff that you're going to want to see. So keep a close eye on that as we come. So if you're just trying to do an audio only, you're going to want to be seeing the screen, especially for this live cast. Okay, how the MLS is typically done. So typically in the MLS, you get an agent, okay? And then you have that agent look for some properties. That agent brings you some properties. You make a few offers. None of these offers get accepted, and many of them you make offers get nagged. They're like, why in the world would you lowball me? Are you freaking kidding me? This property's worth so much more. And so then you're like, oh, I don't like getting all this rejection. I'm not going to do that anymore. And then you don't want to make any more offers. And then you get discouraged and frustrated. Oh no, this is never going to work for me. This is never going to happen. So then you say, then you give up. Okay. So one of the biggest things with this whole process is like your dreams get crushed, right? So that's how the MLS is typically done. So this is what we call the shotgun approach. If any of you are hunters or firearms people, a shotgun is basically what's going to happen is most shells with a shotgun have a ton of BBs inside of them. And when you shoot, BBs go out and they make a pattern, and those you hope that you're going to hit what you're trying to hit. That's the shotgun approach with that. So each shotgun has hundreds of BBs. One shot sends hundreds of BBs. Okay, the difference here is called the sniper approach. And this is this MLS sniper approach. And a sniper is completely different. A sniper is going to hide. A sniper is going to have one target. They're going to spend a lot of time looking at the wind. They're going to spend a lot of time making sure they got one shot and they have to hit and they cannot miss. And they're going to make sure that they're 100% on. That is the sniper approach. And that's this whole MLS sniper. Before we do that, we want to do a couple shout outs. Utah Fastback, I want to know, appreciate you shouting out. Mac, thanks for shouting out. Maurice, thanks for the shout out. Bill, you want to know, me too. Thanks for the smiley face, Maria. Jeffrey, appreciate it. Dre, thanks for being here. I want to know. Frank wants to know. Yvette wants to know. Kim wants to know. Appreciate all of you being here. Okay, so this sniper approach, what you're wanting to know here is this MLS sniper approach. Here's how it works in a nutshell. You spend a lot of time doing the research. So this is where most people mess up. They don't spend the time doing the research. So MLS Sniper, you spend your time doing the research instead of your time making a bunch of offers. You know your target. You know what you're going after. You know the win conditions. And you know you get one shot. So this puts it completely on its head. And we're going to show you exactly how this works step by step. So what is MLS Sniper? Okay, what is MLS Sniper? So rather than making hundreds of offers to just anyone, you do the research up front. You pick properties that have motivation or should have motivation. So first you look at properties that are active on the MLS or expired on the MLS. Next, you look at motivation. We do a separate search for that, like non-owner occupied or vacant or long days on market or pre-foreclosure or bankruptcy, divorce. They have some sort of a lien. And then once you do that, then we start making offers. So next, you determine how much you can pay for the property. And then, so if you're not sure how much you can pay for the property, go check out our values trainings. We have lots of values trainings for members. Then you determine how much they owe on the property. This is called a reverse amortization. So we know when they purchased the property, we know how much their loan was when they bought the property, and then we use a database to determine what their interest rates, the average interest rate was when they purchased the property, and then we can do what's called a reverse amortization. So we say you about owe this amount, and that's a computer calculation. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but it's going to give you a really good idea. And so then if you know the value of the property and you know how much they owe on the property, you know how much margin they have. Okay, so our software called Investor's Edge does this, and I'm going to show you how to do it. We're gonna get into it in detail. So you know how much they owe, you know how much they can sell it for, and then you determine the repairs. We have a proprietary software you can use to do repair in Investor's Edge. We can show you. We're not going to talk about that today. Actually, it may be a topic. If you're interested on how to calculate repair costs, put that in the chat as well as a future topic where we can talk about that. And you know how much you can pay for the property. Okay, so I want to make this comparison. So the shotgun approach is go make a whole bunch of offers and hope one gets accepted. And usually what happens is you make one or two offers, you get fed up, somebody yells and screams at you for making such a lowball offer. Your agent says this is never going to work out, so you give up, and then you're frustrated So that's kind of the traditional. The MLS sniper is we're saying, hey, we get one shot at this. So what we're going to do is we are going to do our research. We're going to figure out homes that probably have motivation. Once we figure out that motivation, then we're going to value those properties. Then we're going to estimate our rehab costs without ever seeing the property. And then we're going to use our reverse amortization to make sure they have equity. And if they have equity, then we're going to make them an offer. And I did that in the wrong order. The first thing you're going to do is, do they have enough equity? And if they have enough equity, then we're going to determine the value of the property. And then once we do that, then we're going to make an offer on the property. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're putting it. We're flipping it on its head here. So you'll know how much you can make on the property. So this is the kicker. You know how much they owe on the property. This is everything. So we're going to get in detail on this. And so can they even accept the offer if they wanted to? Okay, so what is this MLS sniper? So let's just say if somebody owns $150,000 on the property and you offer them $100,000, they couldn't even accept the offer if they wanted to. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't accept the offer. So you're wasting your time. And those guys are going to be the most upset. Those are the ones that are going to call screaming and say, are you kidding me? Like, what a lowball offer. You're just trying to take this from me, trying to steal it from me. Whatever the case is, those are the ones that are going to make you sad. Okay. So let's just give an example here. Let's say the price is listed for $150,000. You offer $100,000. They owe $130,000. The seller can't even take the offer if they wanted to. So it's a waste. This is how most offers are made. And this is why most real estate investors get discouraged when they're working on the MLS. So let's do another example. Seller example, list price is $150. Seller owes $150. You offer $100. They owe $90. The seller can accept this offer. They're going to make $10,000. They can accept this offer. They may not want to accept the offer, but they can. And if they have motivation, a bankruptcy, a divorce, they're an out-of-state owner and the property's vacant, their tenants moved out, whatever the case is, then they may accept the offer. See, the asking price is just what they're hoping to get. What they owe really determines how much negotiating room they have. And so if you know what they owe, so the whole key to this is knowing how much people owe on the property and then determining what the value of the property is. It's that simple. And then make your offers. You're a sniper. Make the offers just to those ones that you know they could accept the offer. Most people are wasting all their time making offers on the MLS to people that couldn't accept the offer, even if they wanted to accept the offer. Like, I want to sell, but I couldn't sell it for that even if I wanted to because they owe more than it's worth. So we're going to talk about how to do this. Okay, making offers. But first, we got a few shout outs. Arturo, I want to know, appreciate you being here. Anthony, appreciate you being here. I want to know, fantastic. Mark, let's go sniper. Okay, we're getting there. I want to know, fantastic. Yes. Maria, appreciate you being here. Dre, go over repair costs. Okay, yeah, let's talk about repair costs. We'll vote that up. If anybody else wants to know repair costs, put it in here. We're going to be voting here at the end. Interested, fantastic. Future topic, repair costs. Okay, I got to get a drink here. Okay, making offers. So you only make offers on properties you know the offer can be accepted because you did your homework. It does take time, but it's a lot less time than the shotgun approach. So rather than making lots of offers and negotiating those types of things, you do your homework up front. What I can say is software makes it so much easier. Our Software Investor's Edge is going to make this really easy. This can all be done from home without ever leaving your house. You can be making these offers from home without ever leaving your house. You can do the research on the properties. You can research what they owe. You can do research on repairs. You typically have pictures on the property, so you can do all of this. Okay, how to get sellers to accept an MLS sniper offer. So you use the standard Board of Realtors contract. So don't use the specialty forms or our forms that we recommend when you're doing an MLS sniper. You want to use your local board real estate form. You want to get a buyer's agent that's a good salesperson with a good reputation. There's two ways to do this. You can make a relationship with a buyer's agent, or you can just make your offers with the seller's agent and try and get them to discount agent fees in order to do that. So if you don't know how this works, most agents charge a 6% commission. It's pretty standard. Half of that goes to the buyer's agent and half of it goes to the seller's agent. If you work directly with the seller's agent, then the seller's agent's going to get the 6%. But what you can do is go to the seller's agent and say, I want you to just take 3% or maybe take 4%, and that'll give the seller 2% more that they can then come down on the price for me. So that's an option as well. You can go either way. You want to have large earnest money. So you want to have a large earnest money deposit. So that's just going to depend on the large earnest money. Okay, so I had a question, Regina. What about inspections? Great question. One of two things. Either we're going to wholesale the deal and somebody else is going to go do the inspection. So if I was doing out of state, I would get it under contract. I'd find the new buyer. And then with that new buyer, they would then go do the inspections. I don't even need to see the property. If you're interested in out of state deals and doing out of state investing, let me know. And we can talk about it at a future date. And if you're interested in wholesaling as a topic, let me know as well. We can talk about it. But if you want to rehab the property yourself, if you want to do the rehab, what you're going to do is put your contract date out 90 days, give yourself 80 days for inspection. And then once the COVID-19 stuff kind of ends here soon, then you could go and do the inspection on the property. So great question, Regina. If that doesn't help, let me know. Please keep posting. Will this content be available after the presentation? Yes, we're recording this and you can watch this afterwards as well. So check it out on our YouTube channel. If you have questions, please post them, guys. I'm watching them like a hawk and want you to get value out of this. The other way to get MLS Sniper offers approved is have a pre-approval letter. So you have a letter. If you're a member of ours, you can get those on demand. You can print them off and submit those with them. Members can access them 24/7. You want to do the follow-up. How to do it without ever going to the property. So you can do it remotely, you can do it in another state, and then you can wholesale the property, let your buyers go to the home, which we talked about earlier. And you only buy it if you have new buyers in place. That's one of the great things about wholesaling is you only close the transaction if you have a new buyer in place. Again, that's a whole wholesaling thing. So if so, then you're going to want to do that. Okay, let's see. Gary, VIP only has access to a small amount. Give us a call. We can talk about other memberships if you're interested, but it's not going to have everything we're talking about. Interested in wholesaling, fantastic. If that gets voted up, inspections are on here, wholesaling is on here. If that gets voted up, then we'll do it. Is having a buyer's agent a necessity? No, but having a buyer's agent, Dre, is not a necessity because you can work with a seller's agent. So, but you are going to have to work with an agent to submit it because the seller, basically, if it's on the MLS, the seller said, I want to use an agent and my agent's going to represent me. So call my agent, don't call me. So you've got to do that. So you can at least work with a seller's agent and try and get them to discount. If you've got more questions on that, please post them here. Cindy, I want to know all fantastic. What coaching is available post-presentation? Regina, just give us a holler. We can talk about some different options that are available for you. So give us a call just on our regular number. Let's see here. I'm already a member. Fantastic. Thanks for being a member. I'm interested in wholesaling. I want to learn more of this. Fantastic. Thanks. I think that was Kim. Okay, great. So we're going to keep going here. You can do this anywhere. Okay, next, we're going to do a quick live demo of a software, our software. So let me bring this over here so we can do this. So here's what's happening. I need to reformat this screen real quick. So this is Investor's Edge software. This is our software. So what I want to show you is how to do some of this research so you know what's happening. So if you come here, I'm just going to go Chicago because we've got a few people from Chicago. If you're from Chicago, give me a shout out again. And so we're going to come to Chicago, okay? That's the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to come here to our filter. And in our filter, we're going to come here to MLS status, and we're going to say, we could say things that are currently active, or we could see things that are failed. So this means it's on the market, and this means it's not on the market anymore. So I'm going to use both of them, but you could say, I only want stuff that came off the market, okay? And then we have this really cool tool. We come here, and we're going to come to valuation and equity, and we are going to come to estimated equity. So this tells us how much. So this is actually doing the homework for you as to how much they owe versus how much it's worth. Granted, you still need to do the valuing yourself, but let's say I want to have at least, what do we say, $50,000 of equity all the way up to $200,000 of equity. And again, this is not going to be exact. But it's going to give you a pretty good idea. So we're looking for stuff that's active on the MLS that has at least $100,000 worth of equity. Look at this. There are 9,362 properties in Chicago right now that have at least $50,000 worth of equity from what we estimate the property's worth to what it's going to sell for. That's just amazing. So you're going to need to sort this down. We don't have the time to do that in this live cast, but let's just pick this property just in random. Okay. So this property, I can come here, I can click on it, and I can see all of the pictures of this property. So I really know what I'm getting myself into with this property, how much work this property needs, or if it doesn't need work, or any of those types of things. I can see all the information on this property. I can also come here and I can know all the information, the listing agent phone numbers, all that different type of stuff like here with who the agent is. Everything's just right here, their phone number, their email, all that type of stuff. I can also come here and look at transaction history. I can know how much they purchased the property for. These guys purchased the property for cash for $39,000. But here's what I can do. Public record is $39,000. So the computer is doing what's called an AVM, and it's saying the property's worth about $123,000. Now, this is not doing the research yourself, but this gives you enough where you could go and make an offer on this property. And then estimated mortgage balance. These guys don't owe anything on this property. So if they were motivated, then you would know that this is a property you could go out and MLS snipe. So we come here to filter, and you can change some of the motivation levels, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute, because there's just way too much for us to go through. So let's see here. Whoops. Okay, so let's next go to a property that has some motivation. So let's just say that we're talking about a lien. Let's just say they've got a specific lien. Let's say they've got an HOA lien or a tax lien. Let's say they've got let's put a mechanics lien on there. Let's just say there's a mechanics lien. I don't know how much this is going to come up with. So with a tax lien and a mechanics lien, there's 184 properties that have a tax lien and a mechanics lien and have $50,000 to $200,000 worth of equity and are listing on the MLS. So these guys are going to have a lot more. These guys are going to have a lot more motivation to sell their property because they've got a tax lien or they've got another lien on the property. So same thing here. This is the property. We're estimating we're $363. Again, this is not what the property is going to sell for. The computer's doing this to give you an idea if you should go after this property. We know they owe $247,000, but we also know they have an involuntary lien of $3,000. So this is huge. This is huge. Okay, let's go here. Let's see. Remember, we talked about that. What is the recommended time to flip a home, and what is considered too long? I think 6 months is probably the time period. Most of them can get done in 90 days to 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Over 6 months, I think you're running into some trouble with that. But if you want to do that, talk about fix and flip, and we could have it as a subject for another one. Should we buy and hold until COVID-19 is over? I think right now what you want to do is tie up deals but not close on them. Gary, I think you want to tie them up but not close on them, and then close on them after things get to the other side of it would be my recommendation. Yvette, thanks for saying hi in Chicago. Maurice, thanks for being in Chicago. How does the software compare to RealFlow, and how data update, how accurate? Great question, Elena. I don't know that software, to be honest with you. We're updating the data as fast as data is coming available. Some areas we get it really fast, some areas it's not as fast. We have 300 different data pulls from the post office for vacancies to all different stuff. So it's as available. It's usually within 24 hours of the data we're able to get. So it's getting updated all the time. Okay, so this is the idea. Basically what we're saying is, hey, we come and find properties. We find properties that have equity and we're making offers. So we're looking for equity and we're looking for motivation. If they don't have the equity and they don't have the motivation, I can't make an offer on that. This software makes it really easy. Our Investors Edge software makes it really easy to know. And then from there, you can make your offers on the property. And you're going after properties that actually make sense, where they can actually sell the property to you if they wanted to, like we talked a little bit about earlier. A couple of shout outs here. Okay, next, can you get earnest money back? Yes, Kim, absolutely. You draft. That's one of the things when you make an offer on a property, you're in the driver's seat. So you tell them when your earnest money becomes non-refundable. So you could write an offer for 90 days from now. Say my earnest money becomes non-refundable in 80 days, and my inspection deadline's in 80 days. My due diligence deadline's in 80 days. My loan approval deadline's in 80 days, and get the property locked down. And then any time between now and the next 80 days, you can get your earnest money back. If you pass the 80 days, then your earnest money is in jeopardy. But if you get out before then, you get 100% of your earnest money back as long as you draft your contracts. And I'm not an attorney or anything else like that, but that's how the world works if you draft your contracts correctly. And I recommend using the board contracts if you're going after properties that are in the MLS. But literally, what do we have there? Like 9,000 properties with equity. Now, lots of those people, 9,000 properties that are listed on the MLS or are not on the MLS. So you could go after properties that have expired on the MLS that are going through a bankruptcy. And you could do a list of those guys and make sure there's enough equity to make some offers on those. You could do a list of properties that are going through a divorce. You could do a list of, let me just go back because it sounds like everybody's getting really excited about this. So I want to go back to this. Let me just show you some of the different motivation filters that we could do. So we could do non-owner occupied. Okay, that's a motivation filter. We could do vacant properties. That's a motivation filter. We can do MLS statistics. We could do stuff that failed on the MLS, right, instead of active on the MLS. Pre-foreclosures. We could do stuff that's in pre-foreclosure, right? So a notice of defaults. So we're doing a bunch of stuff. We're gonna have to reset this filter. It's gonna freak out because we're trying to do too many things. Divorces. So there's mechanics liens. You could say somebody's going through a bankruptcy. You could say mortgage information. So there's all these things. Look, we've got vacant, active or failed on the MLS with a Liz pendants, with a notice of default, with a mechanics lien. So this has like a whole bunch of categories. You never would want to do this. And look, it came up with one property that meets all that criteria. You're going to want to do one at a time. So you're going to say, hey, who has equity? And then you're going to want to say, and who has motivation? So equity and motivation. So you'll do one. So you wouldn't want to do all these. You'd want to just say who has a mechanics lien and is on the MLS right now. Okay, great. And then who's vacant and on the MLS right now that has equity. So you want to look for equity and look for motivation. So motivation is vacant is motivation, right? Out-of-state owner is motivation. Notice of default, motivation. So any of these life-changing events that are happening will bring motivation to it. So if you have questions on this, please shout them out here. Let's see here, because I want to answer them. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page with me on how to make these MLS sniper deals work. So the whole idea is I'm only making offers on stuff I know have motivation and have equity, so I don't have to make hundreds of offers, and so I don't get my dreams crushed. Okay. Can this be done? Let's see, before that, there's my back. Can this be done in rural properties? Yes, it can. So data is going to be different depending upon what rural property it is and what's available there. So you're going to have to try different data sources to see what's available there. It depends on what rural means. Funding is going to be completely different when we talk about rural, so you have to be prepared for that with different funding sources. But great question. How do you feel about properties that have foundation issues? I hate properties that have foundation issues unless I'm in Texas. Texas foundation issues are pretty, shout out, if you're in Texas, give a quick shout out. If foundation issues are pretty common in Texas, you actually have to water your foundation in most places in Texas. So that's interesting. Keep it in perspective here. Oh boy. Where did that go? So keep that in mind. But really, if foundation issues need more than $5,000, don't mess with them. If you're having to do helical piers and all that type of stuff, if they have to lift the house up, don't mess with them. Unless you're like a pro, I wouldn't even mess with houses like that. So great question, Delilah. No, that's saying your name wrong, but I can't read it from this far. My screen's like so small. Dre, can you type in Investor's Edge to get to the site? Or is there a link? Yeah, you've got to access through Do Hard Money. So access through your Do Hard Money membership. And actually, if you're interested, we're going to give, if you're not a member of Do Hard Money, if you're not one of our members, we're going to give you a 7-day trial so you can play with it. See, so great question. What's the cost to use the software? We're going to give you a trial. You can give us a call. Oh, hello from Texas. Okay, I got it. Yeah, if it's a minor foundation issue. So if you've got more questions, shout them in here, guys. I want to help you out. So live demo, we went through this. We did the Chicago property, and we went and talked about a few of those. So we're good on that. So MLS Sniper notes, the more distressed the property, the better. So you've got to realize if the property's in perfect condition and it's got equity and it's listed on the market and they don't have a big motivation, you're not going to get the deals with this MLS Sniper. Remember, we're a sniper. We're looking at the wind. We're looking at all the elements to see where do I have the best chance of success in getting an offer accepted, and I'm making offers on those. So the longer on the market, expired listing, divorces. So we went through the Chicago listed, and then you do the research. So once you've found these properties, then you pull your own comps, then you estimate the rehab, then you determine the purchase price, then you make an offer on the property, okay? So that's kind of the process here. I talked about, we don't have enough time today to go over the repair bids and that stuff. So again, if you want to have that as one of the topics, make sure you shout it out here. Okay, how many offers to get a property? I think it's 15 to 20 offers. I know some guys that are as low as 10 offers to get a property under contract, which is much different than the 50 to 100 offers you have to make. But it really depends on the market. It depends on the competition. It depends on what's happening there. So that's to give you an idea. But again, we're snipers. We're trying to find what has the highest probability of success for us, do the research up front, and then make the offer. How long does it take to do the research? I think an hour or two per property that you're going to do the research on. Now, that's not, we went through and used Investor's Edge, and then from there we decide, hey, is it time to make an offer on this property? Then I can go do more research on the home, and I can get a better idea of what the rehab's going to cost, what I'm really going to sell it for. Because that number on Investor's Edge, there's two of them. One of them is just an AVM. Banks used to use it to lend on properties. They still do when you're getting like a second mortgage or something like that. But that's not what it's really going to sell for. It just gives you a ballpark to do some marketing purposes. Members, if you're members, you can use our basic or advanced values training. And so 20 offers to get one property, even if it took 20. And if you spent 40 hours on it, right, you'd have 40 hours worth of time. If you made $33,000 per property, that'd be making $825 an hour. Nobody makes that kind of money. So MLS Sniper, know the seller has the ability to sell. Grab a drink here. So that's the whole key here, is know that the seller has the ability to sell. Know what they owe on the property, okay? So let me see. You've got a few texts. Fantastic. Best way to find a buyer. Oh, fantastic. Great question. So with Investor's Edge, you can actually find cash buyers in the area. So you can find people that bought properties for cash, and you can go after them in your same area. We also help if you're wholesaling. We can put it out to our members, and we can help you wholesale that property as well. So we offer that for our membership group. And then the other thing is, if you're just selling the property as a rehab, you're going to want to put it on the MLS. If you're wholetailing, if you don't know what wholetailing is, put hotel in a question mark. So wholetailing, we can cover it at another date as well. Okay, MLS Sniper notes. What are the advantages of MLS Sniper? Okay, you can do this without going to the home. You can know the seller has the ability to accept the offer before you even make the offer. This is critical. This is the whole sniper mode. I know stuff that nobody else knows, and I know that because of my softwares. You can do this in any state. You don't have to make as many offers. You make fewer offers than you would. There are lots of properties on the MLS, so you don't have to do as many other marketing efforts. An agent does the negotiating for you, so we'll get into that as well. So those are some of the advantages I think we're talking about with the MLS Sniper. So if you've liked what you heard on the MLS Sniper, say that you love MLS Sniper and you're going to try it out. That's what I really want to know is, are you going to take action and go try this out? And I'm going to make it easy for you because I'm going to give you 7 days of the software so you can play with it. So you have an idea with that. So great. I appreciate the shout out on wholetailing. Wholetailing is basically, if wholesaling and retailing had a baby. So wholesaling is selling the property to somebody else that's then going to do the work on the property. And retailing is fixing the property up and then selling it on the retail market. Wholetailing is in between. You buy a property that doesn't need a bunch of work on it, and instead of wholesaling it to somebody that's going to buy it and fix it up, you actually put it on the MLS and sell it on the MLS. And not do a bunch of work to the property. So if it needs less than $5,000 of work, it's a great candidate for wholetailing. If you'd like to know more about that, put that in. It can be a subject we can cover in another live stream. Okay, can you make repairs yourself, or do you have to hire a contractor? It depends on the property, Cindy. Basically, what I say, and most lenders are going to say, if the city requires you to have a permit, then you're going to need to hire a contractor. If it doesn't require a permit, then then you could do the work yourself, or whatever the case is, you're not going to have to hire a contractor. So I defer, Cindy, depending upon what your city requires. If the work being done is going to require a permit, then you're going to need to hire a contractor. If it doesn't require a permit, then it's not. And typically, if you're doing carpet and paint and putting in a new kitchen, you don't need to get a permit in most cases. But if you're doing electrical or HVAC or plumbing or moving walls or that stuff, you're going to have to use a contractor. So great question on that. Okay. MLS Sniper, I'm going to try it. Awesome, Dre. I appreciate it. Love it. Yvette, thank you. Love MLS Sniper. Gonna try it. I love it. That's all I ask. Just give it a try, guys. Partner with a pro. Sheridan, partner with a pro is basically where you find the opportunity and you partner with a pro that's going to do the fix-ups, the rehabs, and that stuff, and you do a partnership. So great question. If you have some more questions, give us a holler on that. Do you use buyer's agent for wholesaling? No. If I'm going to wholesale a property, I'm going to wholesale it out. You can use our database and we can send it to members that we have that would want to buy it, or you can develop your own cash buyers list using Investor's Edge. Okay, yes, would like to try Investor's Edge. I'm going to show you how to get Investor's Edge trial here in just a minute. If your members do get if you're a member, do you get partner with a pro? Yes. So partner with pros included in our membership, depending upon which membership level you have. So Sheridan, we'll get into that. As a realtor, I would like more information about wholesaling. Fantastic. Yep, put it in there. We can talk about it in another live cast. How can you choose a good contractor? Oh, Maria, that's like a whole topic. If you want help on choosing good contractors, put it in here. That's a whole topic for a live cast, how to choose good contractors. Okay, so if you missed last week's live cast was how to access 0% interest money to do flip deals in the current marketplace. I highly recommend you take a watch for that. Go back and watch the replay. It's on YouTube. Just go to Do Hard Money YouTube and just type in how to access. You're going to see it on there for one of the live casts. And then, while you're there, while you're at the YouTube channel, it would be a huge help to me if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel and also give it a thumbs up when you watch the videos. It's a huge help to me. So if you can do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Like the video, leave a comment. Big help for me. Okay, so looks like it's going through that. Okay, so what I want to know for next week, what do you want to learn for the live cast? What do you want to do next week for the live cast? What would be helpful to you? While I'm doing that, this is a Investor's Edge. If you want the free trial, just go to dohardmoney.com/IE for Investor's Edge -free trial. Again, dohardmoney.com/IE-free trial. Investor's Edge -free trial. If you do that, you can get a 7-day trial. So if you want to get a 7-day trial, let me know if that's something you want to take advantage of. For next week's live cast, do you want to talk about seller financing? Do you want to talk about wholesaling remotely, preparing yourself to buy cash flow properties, business partner deep dives, how to analyze rents, how to make offers without seeing the property, coronavirus investing, buying properties remotely, something else? A couple things that just got added that we talked about is contractor bids, finding good contractors. I'm going to add these to our list. And if there's other stuff, please type it in. So right now, if you want one of these, please type it in so we can make some plans for this next week, what you would like to see. We also talked about value or cost of rehab, how to know what rehab is going to cost. Those are some other topics that got brought up as well. So please type in what you'd like to see into the chat box here so we can have a good idea of that stuff. Oh, wholesaling remotely. Okay, great. Yep, wholesaling remotely. We've got it on the list as well. Okay, so more information. Again, if you want to get that 7-day free trial, dohardmoney.com/IE-free trial. Take advantage of that. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share the livecast link. You can share the YouTube link to friends or several friends. It's really helpful to us. And then secondly, please go check out my podcast. It's called Income Hacker. You can get it on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can get a copy of the latest with Income Hacker. Also, remember, join us next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And type in what you want to see for the next live cast. Whatever you'd like us to talk about, please type it in here. Again, if you want that free 7-day Investor's Edge trial, go to dohardmoney.com/IE-free trial and get a copy of that so you can play with it, do some of the things we were doing today. Okay, I want to jump back over here to comments. If you've got some questions, please shout them out here. If you are going to take advantage of that free trial, say, I'm getting the free trial. I would appreciate to see that, and make sure you're shouting out what you would like to learn in our next live cast. Let me jump back over here. I would like to learn more about wholesaling. Okay, got it. How can I choose a good contractor? Yep, that would be a great topic. Maria, we talked about that. Wholesaling remotely. Sheridan wants to learn wholesaler remotely. Linda, analyzing rents. Okay, I don't even have that on the list. analyzing. Do you want to learn how to analyze rents, or do you want to learn how to analyze rental properties? Do you want to learn what a property is going to rent for, or do you want to learn how do I know if it's a good rental property? Analyzing rents and then analyzing rental properties. If it's a good cash flowing property. I've got a ton of stuff on that. I'm really big on that. Okay, let's see. Everything we got a bunch more. Okay, Kim, wholesaling remotely, I would like to learn. Okay, fantastic. Coronavirus investing, Frank, I gotcha. Good, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Repair costs, okay. Dre, I've got it down here. I'm getting the free trial. Thanks, Kim. Anybody else getting the free trial? Anything else that you want to learn in the next live cast, please type it in now. We make plans for this. I make plans tomorrow for what next week's live cast is going to be about, because there's a lot of effort that goes into this to make it happen. Great talk, Regina. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll be here next week as well. We've got to get our attendance up. We want to see a big turnout with this. I appreciate all the engagement. Wholesaling properties remotely, Peach State Solutions. Peach State, are you in Georgia? Let me just guess that. Appreciate you being here with us. So please type in what you'd like to see. If you're going to take advantage of the free trial, throw it in here. We'd love to see that. And even after we close this, you can type in comments. I'll be tallying those up and making some decisions on it. Thanks, Maria. Thank you. Thanks for the time teaching us. Yeah, I appreciate it. Love being here. Thanks for the kind words. Yes, getting a free trial. Regina, fantastic. I'm excited for you to get the free trial and play with that and do some MLS Snipe or take advantage of the MLS Sniper. So I appreciate you, all of you being here with us today. We'll see you at the same time next week. Check out the podcast between now and then at Income Hacker. You can check that out. Let me know what you want the next one to be on. Choose wisely because it will have a big impact on your investing, and take advantage of that free trial for the 7-day free trial for Investor's Edge. I know you will love it. It's amazing. So everybody have a great night. Thanks for being with me. We'll see you next week.